tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a mother of two and a college student, and I am looking for a new job.
Okay. So, how many years have you worked with your last employer, and who were they?
Well, I worked with Georgia Highlands College. I've worked here for close to 25 years, so 24 and some change. It's a good long while.
All right. Why do you think you were qualified to work at GHC?
Well, because I've worked here for a really long time. I have a lot of knowledge of the school, a lot of knowledge of the students. I know the students pretty well, and worked with them for a really long time. So, and I know a lot about the school. So.
Okay. What do you feel like is one of your biggest weaknesses?
Biggest weaknesses, I think I sometimes get too caught up in like details and don't pull back and see the big picture, and can get too intensely focused on stuff, and maybe not accomplish overall things as well because I'm so focused in.
Is there a specific example that comes to mind?
I can like sometimes I can just like focus in on a project, like maybe take way too long to, a day's worth of work on one little aspect when I really need to be looking at bigger picture things.
Okay. What do you feel like is one of your biggest strengths?
Well, I on the plus side, I am very detail oriented. I can take problems and solve them and break them down very well.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, in 5 years, I think I will still be working at Georgia Highlands and maybe finish with my associate's degree, and maybe be thinking about retirement.
All right. Out of all the candidates, why should we hire you?
Well, as I mentioned before, I have a lot of experience with Georgia Highlands College, a lot of experience with our students, and a lot of knowledge, pretty deep knowledge of the school. So I think I'm a really good candidate for this position, and I think I know a lot and could bring a lot to this.
Why do you want this job?
Well, it would help pay for tuition, which is a huge benefit. And again, I believe in what the institution does. I believe the work that we do at Georgia Highlands is good. It makes me feel good to be a part of it. So.
Okay. Do you have experience with social media?
I do have some experience with social media. I was kind of the secondary person at the library dealing with our social media site. But I was not the primary, but I could definitely get into the accounts. I could post things. I can learn that very easily.
Any social media in specific, like what websites?
I dealt with the Facebook page primarily. Some work with the Twitter account. Some work with Instagram. Facebook probably more than anything. I was probably more comfortable with Facebook than anything.
All right. What major challenges have you faced, and how have you dealt with them?
Major challenges. Well, I recently got a computer science degree, and that was a very, very big challenge, and that was, something that I had to work really, really hard for. Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. So that was a big deal.
Well, what accomplishments have given you the most satisfaction?
Well, in the same vein, getting that degree was a huge thing for me. Our cohort started, it was a cohort of students. We started with about 60 students, and we ended up graduating about 14.
Oh, wow.
So, it made me feel good to be one of a few, to have made it through, and I was really proud of that.
How would you react if you had to complete a task that made you dissatisfied with the job?
Maybe dissatisfied with the job. I guess that would depend on the task, and depend on, I see certain things maybe that I might be dissatisfied with as growing opportunities, things that are maybe outside my comfort zone and would help me grow, which is positive. If it was something that I really didn't like doing, that might be something to bring up with the management or talk to them about. But
Well, to go along with the next question, how would you bring this up with the management?
I've always been really lucky, and I had really good bosses who I could bring anything like that up with in kind of a casual manner. Just go to them, go to their office, knock on the door, and just say, let me talk to you about this situation. And that always worked very well with most of my bosses. That was the best way to handle it. I guess if I needed to be more formal, I could definitely do that. But either let it go or deal with what the job entails, or or kind of bring it up and talk it through. Don't like be resentful about it, one or the other. So that would be my attitude towards it.
All right. How would you approach working on a long-term project that needed to be completed after a long period of time?
A long-term project, I'd probably break it down into smaller tasks. I've done a lot of that with the library, long-term projects where we're migrating a system or something like that. And again, that was what we would do, is break it down into smaller tasks. It was generally, we were forced to break it down into smaller tasks, and that was definitely a good way to do it, like breaking something very, very large into smaller, more manageable tasks.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
Sure. Tell me a little bit about what you're looking for in an ideal candidate.
Well, of course, this is a recruitment job, so we want somebody who's very good at talking to people. We also would like some computer skills for social media outreach, which is pretty important. And I feel like somebody who is working at the college would be a very good candidate, because they would have unique experiences and really be able to talk to other people their age instead of one of the older people did it. It would be a lot harder for them to recruit.
Okay. And so day-to-day activities would just be going and talking to students, or?
Yes, and trying to get outreach and talking to other people and trying to get them to come to the school.
Okay. Well, yeah, that sounds very exciting. So thank you so much for considering me for this position, this exciting position.